welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be a first. I don't think we've ever done this before. My name is Zach, and as always, I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up? It's couples night.
And that's it. There's no one else here. It's just Hannah and I, and I'll explain why in just a second. We're going to get into the Challenge All-Stars. I just showed Hannah the trailer that dropped today. We're recording this on Tuesday night, March 16th. And so the trailer just dropped. The cast officially just dropped. We knew some of them going into it. I don't think Hannah knew much going into it.
I have tried to stay away from any spoilers, cast spoilers as well. I try to do that every season.
So we are into the official swing of the Challenge All-Stars. What we're going to do, just for scheduling and work reasons and things like that, Hannah could record tonight. Couldn't tomorrow afternoon. Jake could record tomorrow afternoon, but not tonight. So what we're going to do is this episode is going up on our main feed, on our normal podcast feed, but the episode that I record with Jake tomorrow to get his reaction to the cast is going to go up on our Patreon, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. And that might be free. I may just put it up on our Patreon.
But it might not be free, so keep it out.
Yeah, I'm
just kidding.
I'm considering doing it like with no paywall, so you can kind of check out what we're doing on there.
I think that's how it should be.
Yeah,
I think it should be no paywall, free for anybody.
Well, there it is. I think that's what
I made the decision.
We were planning on doing anyway. But we're trying to push people to the Patreon and see all the different things we're doing over there.
We have a lot of fun on Patreon stuff.
Yeah, again, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcasts, and
it's like our YouTube second channel.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was like, we do have a YouTube channel. I was like, but
no, but our Patreon is like our second channel.
Yeah. So like, if you follow a lot of YouTubers, a lot of times they'll do a second channel where it's like different content than their normal stuff, which is pretty much what we do on Patreon.
It's more relaxed. We goof off a lot more.
It's more, it's more like personal, I guess.
We'll deep dive into stuff.
Yeah, it's a smaller audience, so like you can get a little bit more transparent about things. So, again, we have a lot of fun over there, so check that out. Jake's episode will be up over there. But, I figured it'd be a little interesting to do this split this way since we've never done anything like that before.
If you hate this, then it's Zach's fault.
Well, we've done a bunch of boys' night stuff, and that's for various reasons. Hannah's sick or got to work or something like that. But we've never done one with just Hannah and I, and so we're doing that here, and then again Jake will be on Patreon. So we just watched the YouTube trailer. I saw it on Twitter earlier today. Hannah had not seen it. Do you have any first impressions going into this? You really still don't know who all the cast is at this point.
Yeah, just from watching the trailer, I didn't catch who all is on this.
Yeah, it's a lot of quick cuts.
But you've got, what is that, E-News pulled up?
Yeah.
There's a picture, and from what I can see, it looks like...
Well, I'm going to go through them in a second.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I was surprised to see Beth come back.
Yeah, when Beth came on, you're like, what's she doing here?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I did not expect that.
Again, because in my mind, Beth has been almost 40 for the last 20 years.
Exactly.
And she's really not.
I know. And like, they showed, I think she was the first person they showed or something, and I was like,
She may have been the first talking.
Yeah. And I was like, isn't she too old to be on here?
She's really not.
But apparently not. I keep forgetting how young she actually is.
Yeah, I'll see if that's on here in a minute. If not, I'll look it up.
It was nice to see Katie. I thought she was totally done with all the challenge stuff. Anissa was interesting because...
She's on the current season.
There's
another one, too.
Yeah, I know. So the thing is, like... maybe I just hadn't gotten really into it or hadn't gotten all the information. I was thinking that this cast was going to be people that we had not seen in forever. I was just surprised to see that they brought Anissa on, which she is an OG. It's just she's been on the last few seasons.
Important clarification. So a lot of people are mad. They're like, this isn't enough OGs. Like, what are Kellyanne? And it's like, well, we got a lot of OGs on here, and like we'll get through it. And they can't call it we want OGs. I think we talked about that on another podcast because just from like a branding standpoint,
you wouldn't know what that is.
Yeah. So the Challenge All-Stars, like, oh, this should be a lot of people that were on the challenge and like really good at it. So,
or like very familiar faces that stuck around later in the season.
I'm not going to lie. So I've seen a lot of older stuff that you haven't, challenge related.
Yes.
I don't know who a couple of these people are.
Okay, that makes me feel better because there were a few faces in the trailer, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'll get to those in a minute. We're gonna go one by one through these. Some of these I'm really excited about. By the way, shout out to Beth. Beth is 52.
Wow,
she looks better now.
She looks great for 52. Because like after I saw her, I remember she's younger than you think, and so in my mind, I was thinking, okay, maybe she's like 42 to 45.
According to the challenge wiki, she's 52. And
man, I want to look like that at 52.
Yeah, it's. I guess she's one of those people that always looked older when she was younger, and then now that she's become older, she just kind of stayed there.
Well, usually, like there's a lot of girls I went to school with that were like this.
That were 52.
No, they looked older than they were. Like their faces were more matured when we were in high school, and now that I'm 25, they're like in their late 20s. They look like they're in their late 30s.
Yeah, typically, if you look older when you're younger,
you just stay looking older than you are.
So we watched a trailer. Beth obviously was one we haven't seen. There's some people that have not legitimately been on TV since like 2000 or 2002.
Yeah.
Like, this is a long time ago. Now, there's some on here. Darrell, Anissa on the current season, which is good. They should be on this.
I do agree. I was excited when I looked up at the picture that's on eNews, this little article, because I'm glad Darrell's really coming back because he's on the current season, and I was thinking, oh, he's doing what he's done before, where he'll do a season then he's gone for a long time, and so I figured the double agent season. That this was his last hurrah going at it. But to see that he's coming on this too, maybe he's realizing on when he was doing this current season of Double Agents, he realized he can kind of hang with these kids, and he's got a little more in him than he thought.
So I would never be worried about Darrell physically. I mean, until just the point that he just can't. But I mean, he obviously has a family and all that stuff. A lot of these people have families now.
Yeah, because they're all older.
Yeah. Now some of them don't. Again, some of them are still single, doing whatever they want. But we're going to go through in just a second. The one thing with this format that I'm not super stoked about, I kind of get it from Paramount Plus's standpoint, but we just finished episode 13 of Double Agents. Episode 14 is tomorrow, and from everything I've gathered, there's going to be around 19 or 20 episodes of Double Agents. So that means this and that are going to overlap for about 3 weeks.
I don't like that.
Well, Paramount Plus they've got to get original programming out there because they made this big promotional thing, like pushing everyone to it. CBS All Access got absorbed. And
they should have held off then.
A lot of people were like, well, this is literally just CBS All Access. There's nothing new here. So I get why they're wanting to put original programming on there. Like, I really do. It just sucks for us that it's going to be overlapping for a couple weeks. We're still going to keep up with it. It appears these are going to be dropping on Thursdays.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, but we're going to be doing the other ones.
I know. But I'm just saying, like, I would so much rather watch on a Thursday or a Tuesday or a Monday than I would a Wednesday or a Friday.
Yeah, Wednesday's the worst day for us. But the one thing that we don't know is if it's going to be Thursday at like 12 a.m. Pacific time, which is how like WandaVision, for example, has been dropping on Disney+.
Does that mean like...
It'd be 2 a.m. our time.
Ugh. Well, on a Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we would have to just watch it later in the day.
Yeah.
So again, we'll have to figure all that out. But it is a weekly drop, so they're not putting all. And there's only 9 episodes of this too.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be like a full season.
You got to think though. You pulled a lot of people away from like probably like Anissa and Darrell are probably kind of the outliers.
Yeah.
You pulled a lot of people away from like normal jobs and family and stuff like that. So they had to condense this. It's for $500,000 from what I can gather, which is way bigger than most of these people have ever played for. Yeah. That's a relatively new amount. Like, it used to be your team split like $100,000 or something
or $250.
Like that. Yeah, and so playing for $500 individually, from what we can gather, like that's a huge payout. And
it's probably enough reason for some of these people to kind of leave their jobs and families.
Yeah, I saw John A., which is one that's on here who I did not expect to see.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see her.
she's in Nashville. She's not that far down the road from us. But she said she got a call, and I don't know if it was Mark or if it was a casting agent, because Mark Long's the guy behind all this. And she basically was surprised she got a call, and then her husband was like, well, this is awesome. Like, you got to do it. And so... What
a supportive husband, Zach.
So, well, I wouldn't have... So, anyway... So she said that, she was just glad that her husband was willing to take on the kids and for her mother-in-law to help out and do all that type of stuff.
I mean, if she wins, she brings home $500,000.
Yeah, I mean, and
that's worth the payoff.
They're like, also, can you be ready to go in 3 weeks?
Oh, that's not much notice.
Yeah. So again, I don't know the full rundown on casting, but we're gonna get through the casting breakdown. Do you have any more things from the trailer that you saw before going in? We did see TJ say the same line that he said to that Brandon kid who left because he missed his girlfriend. He said, what was it? It was hope to see you never. Like,
yeah, it's something, see you never.
Yeah. And so we assume someone's going to quit. We need to like, as a group, make a bet before the season starts. Like,
who quits? That's a good idea. What are we betting?
I don't know. Because some of these are unknown to me, because I still don't know a couple of these people.
Are we betting money, or are we betting, like, doing something?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Well, let's get Jake's stuff recorded first, and then we'll circle back to that when we record tomorrow or Thursday, whenever we're recording this week. So,
Cyrus.
Wait, I'm gonna go through the cast.
Like, you were just asking if there was anything else I had to say.
Okay.
I was shocked to see him.
I couldn't remember how much you'd seen of Cyrus.
The only thing I've seen of him was the Battle of the Seasons, because he was with... Was it Seasons? It was whatever, where it was like he was Team Real World Las Vegas.
He wasn't on. That's Alton. You're thinking of Alton. Alton and Trishelle were teamed up with Nani and...
But I've seen Cyrus on a season.
Yeah, so we actually, me and you started the Duel 2, which was the one set in New Zealand. Or maybe he wasn't on the Duel 2. I don't remember. You've seen something with Cyrus. All right, let me pull up Cyrus's things real quick. Because we have seen... I've seen stuff with Cyrus, but I don't know what all you've seen, and I don't remember in front of me like what seasons he's been on. All right, so... He was on The Ruins. That's where you know him from.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was one that we watched a while back, but not that far back.
He was on Extreme Challenge, which I have not seen. He was on the original Battle of the Sexes, which I don't think I've seen. He was on the Inferno, but I haven't seen since it aired. He was on the Gauntlet 2, and then he was on The Ruins. You know what? Did you watch the Inferno?
Is that the one where...
yeah, you did, because that's Kindle's only season.
Yes.
Okay. So you've seen him. That's the other place you saw him from. So yes, I mean Cyrus hasn't been on here in a while, and
I knew it had been like a really long time.
So let's get into the different people who are on here.
Who is that?
Ace Emerson. This is E! Online used very strange pictures. Ace. You've seen a season with Ace. I know you have.
All right. What is it?
This is the guy that everyone said Jake sounds like. He's from like Georgia. He's real good friends with Kohutta. He in real life he bought a bunch of land out in the middle of Georgia, and he's just like renovating it on his own.
Is that the one Kohutta was talking about?
Yeah.
He was just like a lumberjack now, cutting down trees and
probably
playing around in the woods.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I like Ace a lot. Ace.
Okay.
He was on the Real World Paris in 2003, and then he did the Inferno, which you did see. That's the one you saw.
Okay.
And Battle of the Sexes 2, and then the Inferno 3, which I don't think you've seen. He has not won anything challenge-wise, but Ace is a good dude.
He didn't do very many seasons.
No, he did the Real World, and then he did 3 challenge seasons. I like Ace. I'm excited to see him back. He's a guy who we haven't seen in a long time. When was the Inferno 3? Actually, I'm gonna look up another article I found, because one of them that I was reading earlier told how long it's been since they've been on TV.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to pull that up. Let's see. It's not that one. That one is literally just a cast list. If I can't find it here in a second, I'm just going to get off here, and we're just going to go on the article that I already had pulled up. Because these pictures they're using are very strange. This is it. This is the one. So this is actually from Us Magazine. I always want to say U.S. Magazine.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because I see U.S. and it just looks
but
like
it's
USA.
a larger U and a
USA.
smaller S.
Not in the URL.
Meaning us.
All right, so here we go. So I think this is in alphabetical order. The first one is Arisa Hill.
I don't know who that is.
I really don't remember her. She was originally on the Real World Las Vegas, which would have been Trishelle and Alton's season. And she has not been on since Battle of the Sexes 2 in 2004.
Jeez, that's almost 20 years.
It's 17. Yeah.
That's almost 20.
Sure, yeah. So Arisa, I don't remember anything about.
Is there another picture on E? Because I can't really tell who that is. Like, I can't. It's not a good picture.
These
you can't really see her face very well.
That's the same one. Let me go over here. So, is that her? Yeah. Completely different picture.
Yeah.
Completely different picture on E's website.
It looks like a different person.
Yeah. This is, I'm assuming, an older picture. This one is a newer one off of her. It's off her Facebook page. So, all right. So, Arisa, here's another one. Gisela, I do not remember her. She was on the Gauntlet 2, which I definitely watched. But she was on a Road Rules season, and I didn't watch Road Rules back then. Don't know her at all. Just
if you don't know her, I certainly don't.
Yeah, I again, we're starting out with a couple of obscure ones. Here's a familiar one: Kellyanne Judd.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
she's been hanging out with Kari out in Montana.
Yeah, she's very outdoorsy. I think she might live in Montana. No, she lived in Colorado. But she was last on Rivals 3. But she was on Bloodlines.
Yes.
Yeah,
because that was my first season.
She was
her.
Real World Sydney. Again, she dated Wes back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
She threatened to take the house. No, that was Johanna.
Johanna threatened to take the house
he
while
was
he was dating Kellyanne.
Yeah. That was the ruin. So Kellyanne, I had a big crush on her when she was in the Australia season of The Real World.
Sydney.
Yeah, that was a good season, by the way. And then you got John A., which I assumed Kellyanne would be back because I'd heard rumors. I had no idea John A. would be back.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by that because, I mean, not anybody I would expect to want to come back.
And so her last appearance was Battle of the Exes 2, which was with Zach, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What's weird is that it feels like it's been so much longer than Kellyanne. And
it's the same season.
No, it's not the same season, but it's the same year.
Oh.
It's
yeah,
2015 for both of them. And I feel like I haven't seen John A. so much more than Kellyanne. And maybe that's just me.
No, it feels like it's been a really long time.
Her Real World season was really fun too, Cancun. But yeah, that was a surprising one. I thought she was one of those that was out, living her life, not coming back. She has a family now,
married, kids.
She moved to Nashville. So again, I thought she was done. So we're going from her, Jimmy.
Jimmy has new hair, and I did not recognize her.
I expected Jimmy. That made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would want to be back on the main show.
She's still pretty involved heavily in like watching the show and commentary and stuff like that. So I'm not surprised to see her back. With her blonde hair, I just didn't recognize her, and so it took me a minute to put that together that was her.
The last season she did was Final Reckoning, which was our first season as a podcast.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so what's crazy is...
yeah, because she was the one that was buried in the coffin, and Jenna had to go dig her up, right?
I don't remember.
It was
the
like the first episode.
I don't remember the partners, but yeah, she was on Final Reckoning. I don't remember much about it. She probably was in the Redemption House a lot. But what's crazy now is that was our first season, but we do these in between. Like, Challenge All-Stars is going to be our 10th season to recap. Because I keep track of what we do by season.
10, the number of completion.
Is that right?
No, it's 7.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's right. Anyway, Jimmy's on here. That makes sense to me. We'll see what happens with her. You get any notes on that?
No.
I mean, that's one you're familiar with. I mean, then also you got Anissa.
Anissa, like, we talked about that.
That thing just zoomed in. I don't know what's happening. I hate these articles that, like, use hot links from social media because then it freaks out with the formatting. Anissa,
last appeared Double Agents 2021.
Yeah, I mean she's currently on TV, so not much to say about Anissa. We're still watching her currently. Like,
what do you think her odds of winning this are compared to all the OGs? Because I mean, a lot of these people on this OG season haven't done anything in a long time. At least Anissa's been actively still involved.
She definitely has an upper hand on that. If the final is anywhere near the current finals, like that all the normal contestants are on, I still think she's going to struggle with the longevity of it. But she does have the upper hand on. She's still been competing on some of these people we haven't seen since 2002.
And they may not have been doing any kind of like physical fitness.
Now some of them like Mark Long.
Mark Long, yes.
And Darrell. Yeah,
yes.
Those guys are in insane shape. And so, we'll have to see. She does have a leg up because she's not stopped. Mm-hmm. And also she's also been in a house full of crazier people than some of these have ever been around. And so
mentally she's got an upper hand there too.
Exactly, because she's used to living with this crazy amount of people and whatever. And some of these people have not done this in 15 plus years.
And it's going to be a big learning curve to adjust.
That might make someone go home.
I could see that.
Yeah, like
I could see like
Trishelle quitting because she quit on Rivals too.
Yes.
And so anyway, not Drew Brees. That's an ad.
He retired.
Yeah. Kendall, our friend Kendall, is
I'm
back.
excited to see Kendall back.
Yeah, she did.
I think she'll do great.
She did the one season on the Inferno, which was 2004. Mm-hmm. Just hasn't really done anything since, and
she's been keeping in shape though.
Oh yeah, she stays in shape, and again, we interviewed her about a year ago, and then we met her at Challenge.
We saw her about a year ago.
Yeah, Challenge Mania in Nashville.
So no, we interviewed them about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. I mean, it was before. I don't have the date in front of us
because it had been a few months since interviewing that we met them in Nashville, and she was like, "Oh, I haven't talked to you in a while," and she like remembered all this stuff that we talked about.
Yeah, she's really awesome. I'm excited to see her back.
I think she'll do well.
I hope so. Yeah, because I'm glad someone like her got a chance to come back after so many years and only did one season.
Yeah, it was just the one.
Yeah, and then we got Katie Doyle, which has not appeared since Cutthroat in 2010. You've seen Katie.
Yep.
I will say I did not like Katie back in the day. But Katie now, I really like following her. She's an interior decorator in Kentucky.
And she does a great job.
Yeah, she does a really good job.
She's like gifted.
She seems so much more like level-headed. Now, maybe when you get her in a house with crazy people.
And that can be like a trigger for some people. Like when they are around certain people or in a certain environment, they become a different person.
She always had a temper and like a short fuse. And in the trailer, though, we did see her yell at Trishelle, like, "Trishelle, this was 15 years ago. Like, get over it." And so her and Trishelle probably going to butt heads at some point because they're both
definitely.
Yeah. But again, she just looks happier now. Like, this is a recent picture, and
she looks good.
Yeah, and so good for you, Katie. You turned everything around on me. I did. There was a few people back in the day that I just did not like, and she was one. But I actually have flipped on that a little bit.
You've grown to like her, like you did Marie.
Well, yeah, Marie just let us make fun of her. That changed.
Okay, I don't know this person.
Yeah, he has not appeared since 2000, 21 years ago. I know who Tech is, but I did not watch his season. He still appears to be in shape, but I mean, he was on the Real World Hawaii, which is probably like 99 or 2000.
How old is he?
That's a good question. Let me look that up. I'm gonna do it on my phone so this article doesn't freak out. Tech Holmes. I didn't know his last name. Yeah, he's 45.
He's younger than Beth.
He is. But yeah, he's just not been around like in so long.
I've never even heard of him.
He had blonde hair when he was on TV back then.
Ooh, he should do that.
He may actually now.
I can't see it for the hat.
Yeah, so again, he was just on the Real World Hawaii, and then he did the Challenge 2000, which was in 2000, and he's an interesting one. A lot of people like Tech. I don't remember enough about him to give a full take one way or the other. But I like seeing people that I don't know that I know are from the Challenge.
Yeah, Because that means they're like really pulling in OGs.
Oh yeah. Like he definitely he's the oldest so far. Like as far as how long it's been since an appearance. And then you got Latarian, who has not been on since The Gauntlet, which I did watch, but I don't remember anything about him. Last appearance 2003. I went to follow him on Instagram today. I went and followed all the people that we weren't already. I followed probably 75% of them. He had 1,000 followers and his account was private, but he hasn't. He accepted it, so I'm assuming he's going to get an influx because like the challenge actual page tagged all of them.
Yes, and challenge viewers are very social media interactive.
I hope some of these people who have not been on since the early days do not get bombarded with all of the negative that the challenge,
like hate comments and stuff.
Yeah, because these people have like kind of moved on, and like I like that they're coming back. I hope for their sake they don't get all the like toxic negativity because this guy had 1,000 followers total, and so he's not living in that world. And I don't want for their own sake to be like, oh, I thought I was going to have this chance of this money, and now these people are like, won't leave me alone. Again, I don't remember anything about him from The Gauntlet.
He looks like a really nice guy.
Yeah. Again,
he's got a cool name.
Yeah.
Latarian Wallace.
He was on Road Rules Maximum Velocity.
I've never watched a Road Rules season, so
the
I
Road
don't
Rules
really
was
know
more like the
about
challenge than the Real World was. Like the Road Rules,
I know I've still never watched the Real World ever of any capacity, but I kind of know what it's about.
Well, it's just the Real World was basically they put 6 to 8
very
strangers.
different people.
That was always the goal was to mix backgrounds,
beliefs,
belief systems, things like that, and get them to live together to see them work it out. And then they used to make them like get jobs, and they would have to like go work at like a yogurt store while they, like things like that. The Road Rules was like they would live in an RV, they would travel around and do small challenges along the way. It was more of a competition type thing.
Okay.
The Real World was just the Real World changed reality TV. Like that was a new concept, and so that Paramount Plus has the 30-year reunion of the first Real World season or whatever.
There's a lot of people talking about that.
Yeah, that's going on currently. So, Latarian, I hope you do well and don't get bombarded like all these other people have done. Here's Ace again. This is a little bit better picture of Ace.
Inside of a North Face store.
Wearing a gold North Face jacket, and it looks like gold foil. He has not been on since the Inferno 3 in 2007. I believe he was on the Real World season with CT and Brad. I don't remember who.
Real World Paris.
Yeah, I don't remember who all was on the Real World Paris. Because I did not actually watch that one. That was a little bit before I really got into the Real World. Yeah, so CT was on it. Let's see, CT, Adam King, and then Ace, and then that's probably about all of them that you would know. So I was wrong about Brad. He may be in Real World Chicago or something like that. This guy, his name is Yes Duffy.
Is that his real name?
That's all that I know him by. I did not watch his season of the challenge. He last appeared on Battle of the Sexes in 2002, but I knew who he was just because of his name.
Okay.
His name's Yes Duffy. He was on Road Rules Semester at Sea. He's got a nice hat. That's all I can really say right now because I don't know enough about him. I know his name. He's got a nice hat and he's got a cool name.
Okay. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Again, I'll pull up the cast photo here in a second of the full cast. Now, Alton. You know Alton.
Okay, so Alton, Real World, Las Vegas, Battle of the Seasons 2. Okay, I had all that information.
But you thought,
I thought
you mixed it with Cyrus, yeah. So
because I knew it was somebody from like way back.
Yeah, so Alton, you actually got a real weird version of Alton
because he was like with Sarah, and then Trishelle was trying to like fight with him about Sarah.
Trishelle's she's kind of crazy sometimes. But
I'm not really a Trishelle fan.
Yeah. Alton was a really, really great competitor on the challenge. Like, he was really fierce. On Battle of the Seasons in 2012, he had already kind of, like, left that scene, and he came back to do this. And he was not wanting to put up with the drama of the house and all that stuff. Because there was one day where they were supposed to go out as a group, and he just didn't want to go. It was like an off day, and so no one could go. Like he was like pitching a fit about that.
Oh, that's
type
a
of stuff.
jerk move.
Yeah, like he was in a weird headspace for that one. I think he threw his elimination.
Do you think he's gonna be able to handle this?
Hopefully, I mean he's the one thing about this season is at least a lot of these people are past their like young, dumb, everyone's going to be drunk and fighting days. Hopefully. I mean, they're all...
Maybe.
Probably the youngest person on here is like 35. I would assume. Maybe Nehemiah's the young... I don't know. We'll have to look it up. But Alton, I'm excited about Alton because he was a really great competitor, and going out in Battle of the Seasons was not a great look if you didn't watch his previous stuff. Which you
and
haven't.
I didn't.
Yeah. Then we got our friend Nehemiah.
I so love that Nehemiah is on this.
Yeah.
Because when we talked with him...
That's one of my favorite interviews.
We had that interview, and we were thinking it was going to be like an hour, and it was like, what, 3 hours?
It was over 2. I don't know if it was quite 3, but he was living with Dee at the time. And they were in Kansas City doing stuff with Wes. And Nehemiah was one of the easiest guys to talk to. Didn't talk as much challenge. It was just kind of like life stuff. Yeah.
And I like that. I want to ask a little bit about the challenge, but also I just want to know more about you.
He's a good dude.
He was just so awesome. And it like I was kind of a Nehemiah fan beforehand, but afterwards I was like, yes, absolutely. I'm all for Nehemiah.
The last we saw him was 10 years ago, which seems crazy. Rivals 1.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
I mean, yeah,
it feels like it's been longer since we've seen John A.
Yeah, for real. And granted, like we actually watched John A's season kind of recently because we were working back through some stuff.
Yeah,
we haven't watched Rivals 1 or any of his old stuff, since. But again, it's good to see Nehemiah again.
He was one of those that I thought was, he's moved on, he's past it. I didn't think he would ever come back. So
when we interviewed him, he said, "I'm ready." He's like, "I've stayed in shape." He's like, if somebody calls me, he's like, "I'm good to go."
But also, we didn't realize like an OG, quote unquote OG season was ever a thing, and so we really didn't think, that they would bring him back.
I still think physically he could keep up with the stuff that's going on.
I think so too.
Current seasons,
like if you look at his social media, like some of his pictures and stuff, even his profile picture on Facebook is very like, oh, that guy's cut.
Yeah,
so,
and he's been hanging out with Wes. Like he's got an in route there.
Yeah,
like him and Wes are like best friends. I think Wes officiated his wedding, or vice versa, or Nehemiah officiated Wes's. It's one or the other. And so then you got Derek from a million seasons, but Challenge Mania, yeah. I mean, we met him in Nashville last year. Last saw in Dirty 30, 2017.
Was that the season when he and Joss got in that mud pit and fought like dogs?
I don't remember if that was the same season or if that was he was brought in as like a mercenary. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think he may have been a mercenary for like vendettas or something like that.
It all gets
those all ran together for me. His season, I want to say him and Nelson got into a fight.
Of Real World?
No. Nelson's not from the Real World. Nelson was from X on the Beach, or Are You the One? One of those. I think he's from Are You the One?
Yeah, but what are you saying? What season they got in a
Dirty
fight?
30. I think the last season he was on, like Nelson and him got into it, and I think Nelson got sent home over it.
I don't remember that.
I may be a little bit off. I know that Derek didn't like
Statman Paul is probably screaming right now.
That's fine. He's the bad Paul of our Patreon.
No,
he is. The good Paul.
He's like my number one supporter.
The good Paul is Paul Butler. Shout out to Paul.
We love both Pauls.
So yeah, Derek's gonna be a good he's gonna be a good competitor. I'm not worried about him.
Do you think this is his last challenge season to do? He just got engaged.
Nah, he wants to do as many as they'll let him do.
Really?
Yeah. He would do it every time if they would call him.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we got Darrell. Again, Darrell's on the current season there. He's very sweaty and absy. This picture. I don't really know what's going on.
You just have the picture zoomed in on his abs.
It's how the website's formatted.
You cut his head off and you just have it stuck on his stomach.
I mean, hey, he's what, 42 or something? Good for him. So currently on Double Agents, still on Double Agents.
Yeah.
So as of this recording, we don't know what happens in the future with Double Agents, but Darrell's going to be fine.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say with him is I hope he doesn't take a back seat to all the bigger personalities because he does tend to do that sometimes.
He's done that all over Double Agents.
Exactly. I mean, and he's made it, but I hope he's...
But still, like, we want to see you.
Yeah, and so Darrell, we talk enough about Darrell on the current show.
Yeah, and he's like Anissa, has the upper hand of currently on a season, and
he's
has been in the house with crazy people, so he's more adjusted and ready and acclimated to another environment like that.
And arguably, I think out of everyone that's on the season, like, he's the most winningest person. I mean, because he's won 4.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think anyone else has come close to that. And so then you got Mark Long, the guy behind it all.
The one that's been pulling strings and roping cattle.
The last time I saw Mark Long battle the X's in 2012.
Who was he partnered with?
I believe Robin.
Yes, Robin. I couldn't think of who
it was. Either Robin or it was...
Boy, they should have brought Robin on this.
I don't think...
But she and Trishelle would have fought.
I just don't think Robin... I don't know where Robin's at in her life, but I feel like she's a little further removed from the challenge, maybe from a...
I want to see these people come back and, like, bring up old stuff from, like, 20 years ago.
Robin just never was that great at the show.
No, but she'd get into it with you.
It was either Robin or it was like Rachel Robinson or something like that. But Mark Long, like, phenomenal shape. Like, he's like 52 and he's like...
He's the definition of good shape.
Yeah. Good.
He can hang.
Good for Mark. At some point, Mark said he was going to come on the podcast, and we just never have worked it out. Hopefully, with all this new stuff going on, he's going to do a round of promotional stuff because he is synonymous. Like, even though he hasn't been on in 9 years, and Bananas is arguably the face of the show,
you still associate him with the
Mark
challenge.
Long you associate with the challenge. So it's good to see him back. Then you got your favorite, Trishelle.
The only season that I saw...
Rivals 2. Well, you saw Battle of the Seasons.
Was Battle of the Seasons with her, and it just...
You saw Rivals 2, didn't you?
I don't remember. Which one was that?
Wes and CT were partners.
Nope.
She was partnered with Sarah, and she quit.
I don't think I've seen that
Well,
one.
you like Sarah a lot, and her and Sarah were rivals. So
yeah, okay.
That's
enough.
Yeah, and she quit. She got mad and left.
Yeah.
So... yeah, Trishelle, she's interesting. She's actually been hanging out in Park City a lot, which we do love Park City, Utah.
Nope, that's not a redeeming quality.
So she's interesting. She's good for a fight or two. I hope she doesn't quit. We'll see. She looks like she's in shape. So
she's always been real thin.
Yeah. So I mean, like
could just be genetics.
It could be. But I hope everyone that put themselves up here to come back are able to compete at the level they want to.
Yeah.
It'd be.
I'd hate to see these people come back after 15 years
sad.
And they can't do.
Yeah,
they can't do anything.
And so I hope that's not the thing. And I feel like Mark and them have enough of a handle on production that they know. Hopefully they took care of that. So you got Trishelle. Then you got Beth. Beth Stowlerski. I don't know.
Big old Beth.
Yeah, Beth, most infamously to me, got punched in the head by Tina, and that's.
I forgot about that.
That's one of my favorite challenge moments. But also, apparently they like edited that thing to make it look like her and Nehemiah were hooking up when Nehemiah was like 19.
Yeah,
and we interviewed him, and he's like, "That did not happen." So they're on the season together.
Okay. Do you think they'll edit that again?
I don't know. I mean, Nehemiah, as far as I know, is single. I don't know about Beth. Oh, well, Wes didn't officiate Nehemiah's wedding because Nehemiah's not married.
Yeah.
So Nehemiah officiated Wes's. That's what it was. Haven't seen her since the Gauntlet 3 in 2008.
When you thought she was 50.
Oh, I thought she was 50 way before 2008. I thought she was older.
Well, she looks great.
She looks arguably better now than she did then in like 2005.
She looks great.
When she got punched in the head, I was like, "What's this 40-year-old woman doing here?"
No, this picture right here, she looks like she's in her late 30s.
Yeah, she looks
which
great.
is awesome.
Yeah.
For 52.
Yeah. So good job, Beth. Haven't seen you in 13 years. Then you got Cyrus. Cyrus is an interesting follow. One, he's an older dude. I don't know how old he is. Did I look that up?
Yeah,
earlier?
you just looked it up. He's like 45.
Was he? I looked up what season he was on, but I didn't really look at how old his age, like what his age was. He's 49.
Okay.
So he's 49.
5 and 9 rhyme, so
okay,
it's the same.
On Instagram, I follow him. I mean, we follow all these people that are challenge related, but he plays basketball a lot still at 49, and then he has big like bully breed dogs. He's got like 2 or 3 of them, and they're just big beefy dogs. And so,
what kind? Like pits,
yeah,
or more like cane corsos?
They're not cane corsos, but they're like pits or like that XL bullies or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like
we've got some friends that live out in the country that had bred some of those before.
It's more like that. Like I'm showing you a video right now. Like they're those big beefy.
Yeah.
I think he's got 3 of them.
That's okay.
Yeah, and they just. I
bet they're couch potatoes.
They are. They like he shows them just like laying around in his house all the time, and puts them on his IG stories. And he's he was a guy that I believe almost got in a fight with TJ during one of his seasons. And Cyrus is a lot bigger than TJ. He got into it. It was, I want to say the Duel or the Duel 2 or something from back then.
Like these NBA players fight with the refs?
Well, that doesn't really happen.
No, I'm just saying, like, is that the dynamic?
No, they, like, he got into it with TJ, and, like, they were worried that, like, there was going to be a fight. And TJ wasn't backing down either. And that would have been...
Oh, my gosh, we have to watch that.
That was early on in TJ's tenure as the host, so that may have been the last time he was on the show, honestly. I don't remember. But I like Cyrus. We last saw him on The Ruins, like we said. 2009, so it's been a while. Then you got Ruthie. I don't know if you know Ruthie.
I do not know Ruthie.
So, again, we never finished the Duel 2, which was where our name came from.
Yeah.
I've seen it a couple times.
No, but we just, like, stopped in the middle of it.
What happened was we started watching it, and then we were going to interview Kendall and Tori.
And we went back to watch that.
We switched to Kendall season and never
went back. And we never came back to the Duel.
Ruthie was on the Duel 2.
Okay.
But she wasn't, like, because we only watched, like, the first 2 or 3 episodes. She wasn't involved in, like, all of that day one drama where everyone's fighting. It's all about DM and CT and about Kill Adam. Ruthie was a good competitor. I'm excited to see her back. She did a handful of these. I don't know how many challenge seasons she did, but, again, last time we saw her was 12 years ago at this point. And I don't believe she won, but don't check me on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited with her. She's small, but she's very nimble and she's very good at the challenge stuff.
Sometimes that comes to your advantage, being smaller, because you can kind of get around people a little easier.
She's got good balance, good coordination. So we'll see what happens there. And then we got
Big Easy,
which is interesting
because we talked to him in Nashville.
Yeah,
and he acted like he was done.
He treated us better than he treated some of our friends who talked to him later on in the night after he had been drinking for a little while.
Yeah, he was super nice to us.
He was nice.
Super cool guy.
He was nice, but when we asked him, we're like, hey, man, like, we're in Tennessee. We're right down the road from you because he's up in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And we're like, hey, we'd love to just have you on. Let's talk about the challenge, what it was like. This was the OG thing wasn't even a concept really at this point.
Yeah. And
he was like, I don't think I'm going to do that. He's like, I'm trying to leave all this challenge world behind and just move on. And we were like, oh, okay.
And we're like, oh, that's fine.
But at the same time, it's ironic because he was
at a challenge event.
He was at a challenge event. And so we're like, whatever, man. That's fine. If that's how he feels, like, we don't want to.
We're not going to force you to do it.
But he is back.
So maybe he's not done.
Last seen on Battle of the Seasons, the 2012 one, he was on that weird fresh meat team with Cara and Brandon Nelson, and
oh yeah,
who they were a replacement for Real World Sydney. And I don't remember who the other fresh meat person was. Who was it? Camilla.
Yeah,
Camilla was that.
Well, it's nice to see him back because he's in pretty decent shape from what we've seen. Like when we met up with him last January, he looked great. Like he's a thick guy, but he had been working out and was just looked like he could move some people.
He appears to be in better shape now than he was on any of the other shows. So I'm going to zoom into this picture.
Was he the last one?
He was the last one. So I'm just going to go left to right just to kind of help you out and to familiarize myself with some of these people. Alton.
Okay.
Again, all these people look very mean, by the way. Even like Kendall. Kendall's not mean. And so, Alton, Kendall, there's Ace, there's John A. That's the Latarian. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, Cyrus, Anissa, Big Easy, Trishelle, Tech, and then I forgot her name. She's one of those that I don't remember.
It starts with a J.
Yeah. Gisela. It's Gisela, Mark Long, Beth, Ruthie, Katie, Darrell, Yes, and then she was the first one. It starts with an A. I don't remember her name. Arisa. Yeah, and then Kellyanne, Derek, and Nehemiah. So it's a solid cast.
Yeah.
Like, it really is a solid cast, and, like, there's some that I expected. Like, honestly, Darrell, Derek, Nehemiah, even Mark Long, obviously, Anissa, Jimmy. Those don't surprise me. But, like, they got some deep pulls on this cast. Like, people that haven't done reality TV in, like, 20 years to, like, come back all of a sudden and know...
Out of nowhere.
And know that it's a physical thing, and it is so far past what it was when they were on it back in the day.
And it's not like they had like 6 months to get in shape. It's like 3 weeks to tell your job and pack up.
Yeah, according to John A., they're like, hey, you got to leave in 3 weeks. And so if you haven't been actively like training and stuff, like, it's going to be a tough... Because in the trailer...
Do you think that might be a reason why they didn't get some of these other, like, some other people you would think? Like, maybe they made calls and those people are like, well, I've not really been working out. I've not been training.
Yes, it's definitely possible.
So I don't want to come.
Either that or they're like, oh, God, I don't want to live in a house with 22 people for... Like, I mean, that's the thing with Landon. Like, when he finally did Challenge Mania after however many years, and I listened to that, and he was just like, the thing is, like, you're in the dark. Like, they don't tell you where you're going. They don't tell you how much money it's for. And then, like, the money that they offer you, like, guaranteed, they're like, it's not enough to, like, if you have a good job, like, it's not enough to leave it.
Yeah.
And so if you're one of these people that this is what just all you do,
it's fine.
Yeah, but if you're like Landon is like a dental salesman. Yeah. And so, like, it's hard.
But he makes bank doing that.
Apparently, he's in Colorado somewhere. But also, I so wish Landon would be able to come back. And maybe if this format takes off, the condensed season, the where they shoot it all in probably like 6 weeks or something like that,
he would come back.
Hopefully,
because it's not as hard to get away for like
a month or so.
Yeah.
I don't know how long production took, but to do that and the payout $500,000.
Worth it.
Yeah, that's a lot different than, oh, you might be living in a cave for a couple weeks, and like that's what he was worried about. Yeah. He's like, I don't want to live in a crappy place and not know what I'm competing for.
Well, they haven't done that in a long time.
They did it on Invasions. They made him stay in that shack to start off with.
Yeah, but think how long ago that was.
It's about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. A lot of these people are past their roommate days probably. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic, but I'm excited. I think this cast is solid. I think that...
Pick your favorite to win.
So I haven't seen enough format-wise. We did see in the trailer, they're doing the stuff on the semis where they're climbing around, so it seems like they're going to structure the dailies and stuff. We saw an elimination area with a big ring, so I would assume like there's like the X marks the spot. Hall Brawl's got to happen at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so... I would say at this point, favorites would probably be...
Pick one favorite.
One?
One favorite.
Oh, my gosh.
Right now.
The thing is, like, I would almost say Mark, but, like, it would almost be suspect if Mark won the first one. I'd put my money on Darrell.
Really?
He's the 4-time champion, and he's doing the current season.
Okay.
I mean, you got guys like Alton and Derek and, like, scrappy people who, like... I'd say for the girl, like Ruthie, to me, maybe Kellyanne, like those are the standouts to me. Because Kendall just hasn't done it forever. John A's been kind of out.
But even on Kendall's season, it was more like Wipeout kind of competitions. It was like
not quite that low, but yeah.
But you know what I mean, like stuff you'd set up in a college backyard.
Literally, one of the eliminations on that season was CT and Shane.
Eating chocolate chip cookies and then spinning milk in chairs.
Yeah, and spinning until someone threw up, and Shane lost because he's lactose intolerant.
Yeah. I wish Shane was on this.
Yeah, I think Shane might be done, but
I think he's done.
Again, he would
be so fun.
If this takes off and they know that it's going to be mostly older people, not old, but older. That are not like, let's all fight and get drunk and whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not as long.
You might can pull some people in who we wouldn't expect, especially if there's $500,000 on the line.
Yeah.
If Paramount Plus can keep up that money amount, I think
you can pull more people.
I think this has the potential to be its own spin-off thing that just goes on.
I think that would be fun.
I think it would be awesome, and it would be great for the other show because you have this continuous cycle of, well, when that ends, this other one kicks off.
It's a win-win situation because you're pulling audiences to both.
Yeah. And also it's on a streaming network that has a ton of content, and so people will watch it. I mean, when the Challenge All-Stars trailer dropped, just on Twitter, it was at 1 million views in like the first day, and then
which is awesome.
Not counting Facebook and YouTube, I went on and looked at those, and they were at another like 600,000 views just on that in the first 24 hours.
Wow!
So there's a demand for this. There's a lot of people that love these people that don't necessarily like the current iterations.
I mean, there's enough people that you and I have talked to, like just random people in real life that we've mentioned, hey, we do a podcast about the Challenge, and they say, oh, I used to watch the Challenge 10, 15 years ago, but I haven't watched it recently.
It's not that they don't, and a lot of times with those type of people, it's not that they're like, oh, I hate the new cast. It's just kind of you forget. And that happened to me. When I went to college and I didn't have a DVR, I missed a handful of seasons and I just didn't get caught up, and I was like, oh, I'm so far behind. And then what got me back into it was when Hulu had just a handful of random seasons, and I binged the ones I missed. And then I got caught up, and then me and you watched Bloodlines together.
Yeah,
and that's where it started. And so, again, I think having this on demand, I really hope this does well enough that they can secure the rights to have all of the old seasons backlogged.
I want to watch really, really old seasons.
It's going to be I know.
I want to know what it looked like when it started out.
Yeah, we watched
just to compare to like what we're seeing right now and just see how it's progressed.
Yeah, so
I do want to watch like the Infernos and the Gauntlets and stuff.
I want to go back and watch those. We need to watch the Inferno too because it's on Netflix right now. No commercials. We need to just watch that because that's a good season.
Okay, is that going to be like a watch back?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Some of our patrons wanted us to just watch all of the Inferno too and just do like 1 2-hour podcast on the whole season.
Oh wow, that would be hard.
Yeah,
to limit it to 2 hours for a whole season.
It would, but again, I haven't watched those since they aired, and so I would like to go back and watch those again because the Infernos and the Gauntlets all kind of run together to me. So, again, you got any final word? Who's your favorite? You didn't say yours, and then we'll get out of here. No,
because you wouldn't stop talking. I don't know. I can't pick Darrell because you picked Darrell.
I'm going off just who has won in the past.
Yeah. Maybe Derek or maybe Nehemiah.
I don't think any of those are bad picks. I mean, I just don't think Nehemiah or Derek have ever won.
I thought Derek had won.
I don't have it pulled up. You're going to have to vamp while I look this up.
Well, female to win. If it were a female to win, Kellyanne.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking. He won 3 of them.
Yeah,
I completely forgot how many seasons Derek had been on. He's
been on a ton.
Someone's gonna be really mad listening back to that.
A lot of people are gonna be really mad.
Yeah, he won the Inferno 3. He won the Island, and then he won the Ruins.
Good one.
Well, those were all team ones, and so I kind of forget.
You don't think they count?
No, it's not that. I just don't think about them when, like, in my mind, I think individual wins, which Darrell's may have been team wins too. But yeah, the Ruins was his last one, but he did make the final in Dirty 30. So I think he's a solid pick to. I think what's in my head is in the trailer that we just watched. He said something about his legacy wanting to win, and so I was like, man, maybe he never won. And
was that him?
Yeah, he did some voice. There was a voiceover of him. I think the people like Tech and Latarian and Yes and Bet, like these people that haven't done it in so long, it's going to be a hard transition back. Hopefully it works out. I want everyone to be able to compete at the best level possible, and we have such a good competition all the way through.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I don't want what happened in this current season where we have 5 people quit and then you got to figure out what eliminations are and all that type of stuff. Again, for me, my 2 favorites, just male and female. I'm going to go Darrell and then Ruthie probably.
Okay.
And so,
mine will be Kellyanne and Derek.
I think that's a solid pick. I mean, Kellyanne's got a lot of experience. I don't remember if she's ever won. I don't want to look that up now because I've already looked up too much. But again, I'm excited about this season. I'm not excited that it's going to overlap for a few weeks.
I'm not excited about that. I really wish they had just held off on something to just make it like a seamless transition. Like, oh, Double Agents is over, and it was such an incredible final, and everybody's
There's a new season next
gushing
week.
over it. Well, guess what? You don't have to wait 3 months for a new season. Yeah. We got OGs starting next Thursday.
It's not called that. It's called the Challenge
All-Stars. But you know what I mean. That would have just been way better.
I do agree with that, but I feel like if we don't start recording as soon as they drop, we're going to be behind everyone else, and it's going to get spoiled for us.
I know.
So,
and I'm not saying like just for us. I'm saying I wish they had held off for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. But also from a production standpoint, I get Paramount's like we've got to get original programming on here. So, it is what it is. We'll see going forward, but I'm excited. As I said at the top of the show, patreon.com/smashingheads podcast. We'll have Jake's episode on there. This one's going to go up on our main feed, and that'll come a little bit later. This will probably drop Wednesday afternoon, and then Jake's will drop
Thursday.
Maybe Wednesday night. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's going to happen on Patreon. It will not be paywalled, so anyone can go on there and listen to it. But you can also check out.
You're welcome.
All the other things that we do on Patreon. We
have merch.
Not on our Patreon, but we do have merch. Yeah. smashingheadspodcast.com/store will take you to our shop. And
take a selfie with your merch in your merch. Tag us on social medias, and we will look at it and be happy and share it if that's okay with you.
Well, if they tag us, I would assume it was okay.
Well,
so
it may not be.
Well, if you tag us and you don't want it to be shared, you're going to have to be very explicit about that.
Put it in the description below.
So, again, we will be back with you. I'll be back with you on Patreon tomorrow at some point after this comes up. And then we will be recording, I believe, Thursday for episode 14 of Double Agents. And then we'll be going from there, and we'll still be doing stuff on Patreon. So, again, that does directly support the show. So we really appreciate it. And, again, this was the inaugural episode of whatever we're calling this, where it's just...
It's the inauguration.
It's not the inauguration, but it's whatever it is when it's just you and me recording.
Couples night.
I guess. I mean, we've got the same theme song and stuff, so I don't know.
Oh, we should have a different theme song.
Maybe next time. If this becomes a thing, like where Jake can't record for whatever reason, I'll find a different song. This is just I'm not going to change the song for him either, so it'll be fair for everyone that way. I'm having to do 2 podcasts now.
Okay, well, I want to go eat tacos.
Okay.
So,
goodbye. Okay, we'll see you next time, and adios,
Chick-fil-A, eat fresh.